Hello, everybody. Welcome to Everything in Moderation podcast. Danny and I are here today to discuss the ongoing labor strikes.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people on strike. I think it is approximately 100,000 people. Um, I don't know how the list right on me, but we can say who's on strike.
I saw John Deere is.
Yeah, John Deere is the one that I want to talk about because I know the
Yes.
most about that industry, and it actually is very fucked up. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, especially like when I relate that job to my job, and especially like certain people within that industry. But let's just say, and one big part of the strike is IATSE, and it was the people that pretty much got it going, and those are the film crew people that work on movie studios, and like the stuff they're asking for is like not, especially IATSE. Like IATSE is literally asking to have lunch. You believe that? I mean, I get an hour for my lunch break. You know what I mean?
That's yeah. It's mad.
So like it's like I just wonder why. Why in America is this such a problem? Do you know?
That's a great question. I mean, I guess on sort of the hold on, what was the company you said? Yahtzee? Or what was
So IATSE is
Yahtzee?
it is the labor union that is in the film industry,
Okay.
right? So they literally like when they go on strike, that's like they went. I think it was like 90% of the employees went on strike,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
meaning everything's done. Every
Uh-huh.
film shit all stopped, halted. So it's definitely a really big impact in the film industry, and they want people to get going and start working again. But and it's funny, it was really fucked up because when they started hearing that they're going to do it, they just said you're working throughout 24/7 because we have to get these movies out, right? So
Mhm.
they even did that. So one thing I want to talk about is America and how we operate our businesses. Okay, so is capitalism something that provokes innovation? That's the first
Yeah.
question I'm going to ask. You'd
Yeah.
say you'd say yes.
Yes.
Okay. So what if I told you that innovations in America aren't the most successful businesses?
I would believe that
Now,
also.
so you can counter with me, right? Google is an extremely innovative company. Okay, I could take that. But what about Amazon? You know, what did Amazon do? Amazon basically built and scaled the general internet marketplace to be the marketplace of the internet.
Yes.
American companies, the best ones and the ones that are most successful over the long periods of time are the ones that take a really great idea that was already innovated and lift it and scale it. McDonald's, Microsoft, Amazon I already named. They're like any knockoff of Ford because Ford was the initial car. When we look through the history of America, we lift and scale things. Now, what happens when we scale things? We look to be a very profitable business. Now, one strange thing that you will notice on the financial statements of American companies is that we give the quarterly results, basically in every single financial statement. However, you'll find in a lot of other countries they do it by yearly, and it actually like really eps up what they like when you're trying to like do analysis of the company because you don't can't see it quarterly, quarterly,
Hmm.
quarterly. Now, the reason why that is because American companies are extremely profit driven to quarters. So they want to make sure that they get the most value for their shareholders when the shareholders in this case are institutional investors that are investing within just the general S&P. Like for example, I would say day traders in this category, or like they want good volume coming into their stocks, right? At all times. So how do you incentivize that? You do it by increasing your profit, because when people see your revenue, they see your net profit, and that's going up. If your cash flow is going up as a business, you are going to make more money. So why would you want a union? All that does is destroy part of your cash flow. So here's where we run into the problem, right? With a fully free market system. Well, America, we don't have a free market system, right? We have regulated market, but they say it was completely free. We could have little child labor. It's because we are a completely profit-driven country, and we regulate it to not be that way always. So, like, you know, it definitely warrants stuff like this. So, do you know anything about like the stuff that these like the companies like John Deere or the Yahtzee, those groups are like really fighting for?
Well, I saw that the John Deere thing is they were fighting for increased pay. They said there was reportedly media outlets that were saying that John Deere workers make anywhere from 60,000 to 80,000. But then one of the employees took like their benefits booklet, took a picture of it, and it was like starting salary 39,000 a year. That's including overtime, holiday, everything else. Like that's pretty crazy. 39,000, you know, to we grew up in New Jersey, so like we kind of see 39,000 as like that's not enough to live here. But I think it was Iowa that this specific thing came from, which could make sense because the median household income for Iowa is around that number. So that it's not really that far off, but they're fighting for equal pay from what I saw. And also very funny, since a lot of them went on strike, the actual like factory workers, they had what was it? I think it was non-salaried employees
So
fill
John
in.
Deere, let's just give a little insight to how their business works. Is they have a lot of their employees on contract.
Mhm.
So the contract specifically also says, especially their line and belt workers, like the people that are making the machinery, they are basically paid based on their KPIs. Now, like that limits out on certain occasions, but you know, the big problem that happened that forced this labor movement was that COVID happened and the supply chain got effed up. And because of the supply chain issue, these workers had to take less pay because they weren't able to take any, you know, benefits from this. And guess what? The US government bailed out John Deere. You know that? They bailed out a lot of companies in the United States. So what do they do with that money? Well, the big reason, or one of the big reasons why a lot of John Deere workers are very pissed off is that the CEO increased his income 160% during COVID. So, wow, crazy. So the laborers are taking a pay cut and the CEO is taking a big old gain. Now, there's a reason why he's taking a gain. It's because he's actively fighting the union that's going on in this movement, and the shareholders like that. I mean, it's literally a battle between their shareholders and the laborers in this case. So that's where we come to this conflict of interest. Now, I want to give one crazy example that you're probably not going to believe. So I want to ask you a question. What do you think is the median salary for a welder? Okay, without looking.
Union or non-union?
Non-union. You can just do range if you like, from like not to non-union or whatever you like.
I mean, I'm kind of just going off the people I know, but maybe 40 to 60,000.
Okay. That's actually definitely close to it. I have some numbers up here I can show. Let me just share. Oh, it's okay. Let me share my screen.
You got it. Yeah.
I can do it. All right,
Yeah.
let's go. Oh. Screen one. So you see here, the average welder salary is between 27K to 44K. When we look at unionized, yes, there's an increase, but let's look at the specific example of John Deere. So I heard a interview with a welder that is at John Deere. She has 15 years of experience welding. Okay. She is currently making 2084. I'm pretty sure it's 2084. If not, it's just in the 20 range. Okay. So I'm just going to tell you, I, out of college, am making way more money than this person that has spent 15
Yeah.
years of their life welding. Now, is that a problem? Let's look at my labor compared to their labor. If she gets killed, okay, what does John Deere lose?
15-year experienced welder.
Yeah, but what value does welder provide? It's almost like in a John Deere factory, they're part of the like imagine if it was a belt. This work could really be done by robots. Is what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Okay,
Mhm.
it is skilled labor, but we realize that automation is now taking over, and now laborers are now saying this isn't really worth that much, especially since that they already automated 50% of their business anyways. Me, can't automate what I'm doing. I'm doing critical analysis. Robots can't do that yet. I'm sure when robots do that, my job's going to go down the piper. And then when that happens, I don't even know what's going to happen. But that I can negotiate, because what happens if I die? If I die, guess what? There's a lot. I'm not going to talk about obviously that,
Uh-huh.
but it's definitely a loss. They lose money, like a significant portion of money, if they lose someone that is definitely actively giving data. And they have, because there's the problem. They can't just be like, oh, okay, I guess we're just taking a little bit slower on the production line today. It's what we're going to do. This guy knew something that a bunch of people don't know. I mean, we don't really have integrity with this, blah, 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 you know? So there's definitely like a difference in value between different kinds of labor here. And it's something I want to point out, because I think that one big issue in America is that we're not unionized anymore. There was a point in America's history, I believe, that was either we were 80 or 90% unionized back in the 50s, but that all really ended when Ronald Reagan came in, because it was the era of big business. It's the era of spending. Well, Reaganomics, for example, is that entire scope, right? So, how does America, I'm going to ask you, Christian, balance this war between the two classes, right? You have the shareholders, I'm literally one of them, right, who want to make money off their business that they own. However, you have the laborers who want to have good quality of life. How does America find a good in between?
Well, that's a great question. There's a couple different ways. There's some, if well, this one's not really for the best of everyone, but if you totally automated like everything that you possibly could, there probably wouldn't be a real need for unions, because where do most unions occur? It's in kind of blue collar work for the most part. There's obviously the teachers union and stuff. I don't even know what you would classify teachers as, but um, that would, that would solve the union problem. But then you have a bunch of workers that were doing blue collar labor that won't necessarily be able to do something else with time. So then they're in a kind of a sucky spot, and then unemployment numbers will go up, which isn't good either. So it's definitely, there's a bunch of other factors to take in mind here. But just from talking in the chat and everything, I'm pro union. I think it's a good thing. And if you actually look at China, I know another China example, but I can't remember who it was, but one company unionized and their stock price went up. Why? Because if you fall in line with what the party wants, the business will probably be fine. If they did not unionize, the stock would have fell, because then the CCP would have been like, You can't do that.
Well, here I would also listen, but why does the CCP want that? Why let's think of them like as they're a country, they're basically a business.
Mhm.
Why would they want that? If America, if they are modeling, because they're capitalist, right? If they are modeling our system, why do they want their workers being unionized? Here's a big clue: they don't see it in quarterly. China specifically is the thing I'm really annoyed about, because their numbers, when they try to think, because they do produce quarterly numbers, are so inaccurate, and I can't even use them.
Mhm.
I literally have to use the annual numbers every single time when I look at Chinese companies. Very annoying, but that is for a reason, and I'm just going to go out and say it. Is because economics is an interesting thing, where that you have the ability to either gain in short term, quarterly on quarterly and quarterly profits. You are definitely, but the economy is more than just the stock market. The
Mhm.
economy is the people that are consumers within the stock market. It also depends on what kind of economy you are. America is a consumer economy, so it's really important that we go and and uplift our people. But China's turning into a consumer economy, and they are now realizing that if they don't find a way to balance the labor, and because really what it's called is just treat capitalism, right? Where FDR, there's a reason why he matched the productivity to the labor, is because after World War II, America was so defeated and horrible. Like, we had the freaking Great Depression, right? And we had to find some way to come back from it, and that's long-term growth, like as I said the other episode, is achieved through enriching the middle class are the consumers of an economy. So how do you uplift them? Well, guess who's the middle class? All these people that are striking, the people that are making $40,000 to $60,000, they are the middle class of America, and the lower middle class,
Yeah.
obviously. But this is where we have to make a compromise. Well, not a compromise. We just have to give away. We have to just cut the ideology that short-term profits are a good thing, because ultimately, if you were to look after the long, for example, there's a reason why mutual funds underperform the market 80% of the time. Okay. And that's because they're not investing. So the business that they invest in, right? They're projecting like analyst projections, but they're driven, right, by short-term gains. So it's someone in the market trading these things up and down, following trends, right? There's no real thought in the long-term growth of these companies. It's just the money that they're making quarter, because no one's going to buy your mutual fund if it makes 3% a year. Okay. So it's all about that short-term gain. And then tons of people are in mutual funds. Tons of people are in hedge funds. Do the same thing. America loves fast, quick money. We're a big, fast, quick demand consumers. We love Amazon. We love Netflix. We love things like this, quick and easy. Okay. But that's not how an economy should operate. Why? You're seeing what happens when an economy operates like this. When you have poor people, they will run to different ideologies, right? That gives them a break from the existence that they have. So, of course, are you surprised that there was a riot on January 6th? Are you surprised that there's people going out and saying Black Lives Matter? Are you surprised that there are people in labor strikes right now? I certainly am not, because our economy is very unhealthy, and it will continue to be unhealthy until we dump some more money into it, like we've been doing, or we can actually look at the problem soberly and take a stab at it.
So now there's the big question. Can we look at it soberly and make that shift? And when would that happen?
I'm just going to tell you no. just straight up.
Yeah.
America loves quick and easy money. But here's the thing: markets are cyclical, so there will be points where, I mean, you're seeing it now. Joe Biden's infrastructure package. He recognizes institutionally that if he doesn't get this thing off the ground, America is going deeper and deeper into a hole. Like, imagine like this, right? We are in a very foggy river. Okay. We know at the end of that river, we're going to fall off and die. However, we don't know how long that river is. Do you think we should at least attempt to paddle backwards? It's pretty hard, really hard actually, to paddle backwards against a river current. But, we can slow that current down by spending less or spending on things that will increase our revenue stream, the taxes, right? Not actually increasing taxes, right? I'm talking about increasing the people's money so then we get more taxes from the people, right? That is the healthy way. It's called regressive taxing, right? If we do this, we can slowly stop the river from moving too fast. However, if we just keep on going down, I don't know when we're going to go and be, going to it's going to happen. We're going to have a horrible crash. I mean, you can't, if Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google run the market, it's institutionally bad. Why do I say that? Because over the long run, markets, when they're healthy, should have healthcare, agriculture, very simple supplies and commodities driving their market, right? And I know it's weird thinking that way, but the reason why is that because those are like very true, the very tangible value, right? Commodities do. But Facebook, what's the value on that? I mean, they do make a lot of return on invested capital, right? But they have a lot of debt. That's the cost of innovation, like I said before. You've got innovators in that group. You got, well, Apple's an innovator, but they've kind of lifted and scaled their own business. So they've kind of done it in the right way. Google is an innovator, so that might not be around for long. Not saying that Google is a bad business, but I bet on Microsoft or over Google all day long. Netflix innovator. So like you have a whole lot of value in, or a lot of money in these stocks of these businesses that, it's a very unhealthy thing, because what if these businesses, like it just, some bad news goes and like people just go up and down, like the volatility, you can see the volatility index when I think it's called VIX. Whenever it goes like cyclical, like it's basically been like a sound wave, right? From 2000, basically going like this, right? And every single time you have a crash, it's more volatile. And we keep on asking ourselves, when is the buck going to stop? Because we have so much debt that something's going to happen. And, you can say modern monetary theory all you want. Modern monetary theory makes it very clear that if you don't deficit spend in the right way, you will default. That's why Japan doesn't default, because they well, for the most part, deficit spend in the right way. And that's why they haven't defaulted yet. Same thing with Italy. Italy went through the same thing, and they deficit spend in the right way. America is not. And that we are going down deeper and deeper down that river. And I hope that we go back, but I'm not counting on it.
So I guess we should discuss where we move into after, if if this eventual end comes within our lifetime.
Well, listen, I'm not saying this is an apocalyptic scenario.
Yeah.
I'm saying that America will eventually be forced to take the action, or the revolution will happen. If revolution happens, then I'm out. Sorry. But I'll pretty much stay before that. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not here to fight and die for a country that doesn't even want to meet my needs. Okay. I love America and I want to stay here. However, if it fails, I'm not going to be staying on that sinking ship. Okay. That's just period. Right. I'm like decently patriotic, but what do you want from me? Okay. I'm a person. I'm a human being. Right. If I'm in a economy that does not care about being healthy, I want to be somewhere else. Plain and simple. right? And here's the thing. It definitely won't get to that point because the one thing keeping us afloat is treats. And guess what? Companies realize that. So I think more than anything, companies will just continue to slowly take over the facets of our government, and then we'll become the United States of Fang. All right. So I would say get ready for that. Get ready for your Bezos bucks, your Facebook cryptocurrencies, right? I can't wait to use that. I'll probably be cheaper for a lot of products because it's all about profit, baby.
Well said. I mean, definitely you make a good point too, where if the ship is sinking, you'll leave. I mean, the first concern is, I don't think this is going to happen within like the next 5 to 10 years per se, but it's definitely at that point we'll both probably have families, and our families are our primary concern. It's not all about the country.
I'll still be in this American stock market. Do you believe me? I'll be in there. Right? I love that, baby. They think I'm pumping it, but
what was the quote? Hold on, if there is, I think, buy when there's blood in the streets, even if it's your own.
facts.
That
Literally.
that was a good.
That's gonna be me very soon. It's funny. I always listen to Michael Burry. He says constantly, "Market's gonna blow up. Market's gonna blow up. Market's gonna blow up." And I keep on just saying, it's too early, buddy. It's too early.
I mean,
I watch Jerome Powell like a freaking hawk. I listen to every single thing he says. I love when he lies to me. Right. It makes me feel better because I can kind of like at least have an ounce of like knowledge of like whether he's like bullshitting or not. Cause then like that's when I'm like, for example, I'm done with his bullshit and I've moved my money, my large cap growth into an S&P 500 fund. Why? Because the COVID capital is over and he is definitely looking to get those interest rates back up. So look at that sweet man. So these people, the Fed, I just want to say real quick, I know it's unrelated to labor, but the people that control our Fed are basically a bunch of monkeys that have hammers and they press buttons, those hammers are just to pay down random business debt. So, if you think that's a good thing for their economy, you could say that. I don't. I just think that's a little preposterous. I know it's a very extreme example, but to be completely honest, it pretty much is. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Like, you think spending $12 trillion in 1 year, and then that $12 trillion not going to people, and now the people are fucked. If we spent $12 trillion, why are we in this situation? Why are people kind of fucked still? Why are we having labor strikes? That $12 trillion didn't go and do squat. Dude didn't do shit. Jerome Powell just went, and then now 5%, actually no, 5-6% interest. And now guess who that affects? Those freaking those John Deere workers, because they got a 5% raise. Guess what that equaled? A 1% raise. Good job. Because of inflation. So this is the consequences of an idiotic economy. And I could keep on saying this all day long and hate the Fed all day long. But
don't worry,
my voice won't be heard.
I'm not a fan either. Although I am a fan of good central banks. I think that good central
automate the Fed.
Good central banks are integral, or I mean, a very vital piece and a helping point to any economy. But the U.S. does not have that. So, Danny, come up with some sort of AI or something that we could use to
AI or Japan. You could just do Japan.
Okay.
I don't know how they're doing it, but they're in a lot of debt.
We could do that. We could just import a bunch of Japanese people and then just have them run it.
Good idea.
Asian supremacy, baby.
Hell yeah.
I think that's good for that. That was a good one, Danny. I appreciate that.
No problem. I love talking about labor. You know me.
Yeah, and definitely keep an eye on this because I think I saw too that a record number of people resigned from their jobs in August.
Yes.
Which was,
We'll be seeing the effects about that in this wintertime with the supply
yes.
chain.
Yeah. Good luck Christmas shopping.
I got my Christmas gift early. I got a Rad Rover.
I honestly think that's probably the smartest thing you could do. So take it from us. This is financial advice. Buy
Buy your Christmas gift early.
Buy your Christmas gifts right now. Maybe they'll get here by the time of Christmas. But that's all from us here at Everything in Moderation podcast. Next week, we'll be talking about the upcoming New Jersey gubernatorial election. Lots of things to talk about for that one. And we will see you then. So have a good week, everybody. See ya. Bye-bye.